Hey there, guys, and welcome to another Factorio Friday Facts number 238. I am joined by Scarhoof again.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing?
Excellent.
Excellent. Me too.
We got this is the first double Friday facts.
Double Friday. Oh, yeah.
It's a
part two.
Yeah, because you posted the ones earlier half an hour ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then they posted a different version.
We got two Friday Facts today. So me and Scarhoof made our own, which is 100% legit on the Reddit.
Yep, totally.
Really, really great info in there. And then the devs made a second one, which is questionable.
You can't trust it all. Yeah.
I would go with ours, honestly, but so this is GUI update part 2, technology tree. So by Kovacs and Glex. Today we speak a bit about the work in progress of technology tree and the main GUI style philosophy evolution. The visual style is evolving and becoming more mature. The aim is to be as functional as possible and also be pleasant to interact with, always having the in mind limitations of making it work in our engine. This is why we bet for a neutral and sober look that helps to focus on the relevant elements without distraction of possible decorative elements. It's not too easy to decide because the tradition of video games is very rich in decorative GUI elements, and I'm sure that many of you would prefer having screws and rust in the corners, the metal panels and cables hanging everywhere in the GUI. Me too, sometimes. I believe that once the GUI is completely functional, there will be some minimal decoration in this kind of fantasy, but this will be another chapter. So they're paying...
Yeah, I'd rather have a more functional and GUI than a pretty GUI. And this is an engineer's type of a game anyway, so functional is better.
Exactly. Definitely agree. We're paying a lot of attention to the readability in general, according to the AAA standards of WCAG. So the contrast with the panels and the font is increased quite a bit compared to the previous mockups by simply using a contrast checker. Also, the font size is increased by 2 points, so it is more comfortable to read. The user will have control of the font size in the options menu. That's really cool.
Yeah. And as someone who's over 40, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the increased font sizes.
Yep. So bear in mind that next mockups are a work in progress, and we are still developing our standards, so some colors and solutions can vary through further iterations. Getting to the point, research key. This picture shows the actuality of the state of the technology tree. So we can see here, up at the top, there's now this new frame where you can actually queue up and organize the order that you do research.
That is so awesome.
It's really awesome. I mean, this has been needed in vanilla for like 3 years, but
yeah.
So the player will be able to cancel a queue technology just by hovering the card and pressing the cancel button. This progress is attached to the card and will also be visible in the tree itself. See the screen below. The fluid wagon has been researched, and you can see this in the tech tree in the queue. I see. Okay. By using the principle that when the GUI tells you about some element, it always tries to use this very element, not a representation of it in another frame of the screen.
Yeah, I like that. So instead of having to see a visual representation of how far along you are, you can actually, it sounds like you can click in both of those elements. They go to the same thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see.
So the little drop-down menu that you have on that, what is that, the explosives? That one is available in either on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side.
Okay, cool. Also, I like that, like, when you... on the right-hand side now, that when you click on it, it does give you, like, all the, like, description and such in what it gives you. Mm-hmm. That's definitely nice.
Yeah, and I'm going to rant just a little bit here. This is the second time that they've changed the GUI, and it's freaking me out. Like, I realize the icons are the same, like the graphics themselves are the same, but the icons are just a little different, and it's like, I have to get used to this again.
Yeah, it's like...
But it's fine.
Yeah, I know the feeling for sure. Like, I still
get lost in these queues. I still cannot figure out what things are where, and I'm still more used to the older icons than the newer ones.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. In general, I think this looks a lot more polished. Like, just more, I don't know if professional is the right word, but yeah, just more like polished and finished, which is obviously what they're going for.
My only, I guess, complaint about this is the colors do seem awfully vibrant for such a gritty game.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, the green looks really bright.
Yeah. I would prefer. I would like it if they toned them down just a little bit so that they're not so primary colory.
Yeah, I would agree.
But that's just
No,
me.
I was definitely noticing the same thing. I was like, whoa, I have to blink a couple times. This is a bit bright. Yeah, so overall looks good. Feature technology, the index of technology remains as it is, but the position of the feature technology frame is now attached to the tech tree. Next to the technology itself, the link between the type of technology and info or interactions related to it are physically tied. We are trying as much as possible to interact with elements and
Situation, I think.
Okay, situation.
At the moment, wherever the mouse happens to be.
Try not to open unnecessary frames or pop-ups of any kind. Okay, so yeah, so it's just like this little box that gives you info. I think it's just what they're saying. Like when you click on stuff, kind of like what we saw above.
Yeah.
The same happens with the research/Q button. It is placed on the top of the feature technology and wraps it with a color indicating its state.
I didn't notice that the Q and Q'd were different. Took me a second to notice it, but the top two are different. Slightly different color of orange, and the Q button, the very top one, is like a sticky outy button, and the Q'd looks like it's been pushed.
I'm like blind apparently because I don't see what.
Yeah, so there's a D at the end first off, but then the button looks like it's been pressed. Look at the two orange ones, and the button itself looks slightly different.
Okay, I think I see.
It's subtle, but it's noticeable. At least for me.
Yeah. Okay, so I see. It's very subtle. I mean, you can see it bigger in these blown up ones down below. Okay, I see. When the technology is researched or unavailable, button appears pressed and the color changes. The color code of the card remains as before. We just added a new orange state, yellow for available, orange for queued, red unavailable, and green research. As said above, turn they change in future, but is pretty much it. Okay, so I feel like that's almost too subtle because, like, I cannot really tell much of a difference.
Yeah. It really looks like it's orange and orange. It's not. It doesn't look yellow or orange to me.
That's why it took me like a minute to see what you were talking about. Because, like, I mean, it's like kind of yellow, but until they mention it, it's like your eyes, at least my eyes, just kind of look over it. It's like, oh, orange, a little different orange, whatever. I don't think it's really enough indication to be like, oh, okay, this one is queued, this one's not. Or something.
Yeah.
So that would be one little gripe. The opposition. As this is a dev blog post, it might be nice to show you some internal part of the process. The thing is that my domain is mainly programming gameplay and Albert's domain is graphics. GUI is often something in between, so the two views on the subject tend to be hard to agree on occasionally in situations like this, and I can tell you that there were a lot of these over the years. We were able to argue for quite some time. The proposal comes to me in the inevitable discussion about how is the GUI actually going to be implemented. I really love the overall change of the looks. It suddenly looks so much better and professional, but obviously different people have different priorities and are used to different things in the GUI. I personally had problem understanding that the Q button is actually a button on first hit. See? See?
Yes. See?
Yeah, dude, it's not just us. I'm used to the standard not only in Factorio that a confirmation button is in the right bottom corner of every window. I am also used to the fact that the text button just looks the same everywhere, so I can recognize that it is a button instantly. Yeah. I'm glad that we're not the only ones. As a reference, I would like to show the blueprint confirm. Yeah, so that's like super obvious. I assume he just means like the checkbox, the little check button. It was never designed by Albert and will be touched by the UI changes 017, but it might be a good lesson about standards for us anyway. It is the confirm like window that doesn't have the confirmation button as a text button in the right bottom corner. It has a sprite button in the top right corner instead. We have it in the game for quite some time, so we should be used to it, but I still feel I'm lost for a split second when this window appears, and I would actually prefer if it was standardized.
I completely agree. I've never really liked this the button arrangement. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like you look at the graphic, you know that you press the check mark,
Mhm.
but like he says, it takes you just a tiny hesitation before you're like, oh, that's right, that's the button.
Exactly. So then, let's see. I understand that there's a very good reason to have the proposal done this way, but both graphically and logically, and I'm aware that Albus understands of the importance of standardization more than me. We might just have different views on what's more important. It might be interesting to see what the reader has to say. Epilogue. As you can see, the GUI redesign tries to be very respectful to the current one, making changes only when it's very clear to us is for the best of Factorio and not for the sake of changes. I like to talk about more subjects like multi-resolution, high HR tileset, modularity, animations, auto mechanics, and some GUI philosophy, but it's late and there are more Fridays. I'm very curious to see what you think on the forums. So, I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
The new GUI updates.
It looks nice.
Will be great. They look nice. Research queue, thank God. Super, super great. And yeah, really my only gripe, like big gripe, would just be with pretty much what he said, that it's very difficult to like tell the difference here on those colors and like that one is confirmed and one isn't or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. The colors need to be addressed a little bit, and then the button itself needs to be addressed slightly. It's not super clear that the button was pressed.
Yeah, I completely agree. So anyway, leave your thoughts down below, guys. And unless you have anything else to add, all right, we will call it. Thanks as always for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts as well on the forums if you do have any for the devs there. And until next time, we will catch you later.